Okay. All right. So, hi Herman, we are back.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back. So, I don't remember if we actually mentioned last time that we're going to be doing this every week. So, for who is listening to us, we're going to be talking about a different theme, of course, in the realm of education every week. And I would like also, and I would invite all the viewers of the videos to eventually comment and ask if they have any question that they want to make, for example, to you, or if they want maybe to have a particular theme that we can talk about, then I would invite everyone to eventually make that and write underneath the video on Facebook page, so we can for next time also include some other arguments that people are interested in. So what we're going to talk this time about is, we actually did a series already of themes, and the one of today is the mission of schools. And what we have been writing out, you know, a kind of introduction to it is, the mission of schools is to be able to keep alive the curiosity and the natural desire of children to learn new things. So that's a very interesting theme that I have very dear to me, because I see more and more kids that they get, you know, sometimes even depression, but most of the time they just get annoyed and they have enough of studying, because the kind of educational model we have nowadays in most of the schools, and I don't want to generalize and say it's everywhere like this, but in most of the schools, unfortunately, is taking away that kind of curiosity and natural tendency of learning that we all human beings have. So what do you have to say about it?
Well, I can say I totally agree. I think this is actually a global problem. I think it's almost everywhere in the world you go, you have the same problem. And I think the core of the problem is that the school is not evolving. You know, our society has evolved a lot, and children are born with the natural instinct to want to learn. You know, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
We are born to you know, with the instinct that we need and we want to learn. So actually, it's quite an accomplishment in the school system that they can, you know, shut down that natural instinct to want to learn, that they shut it down. And I think the problem is we need to, in the school system, needs to evolve. You know, we need to keep up with the times today to our society. There's a whole lot of changes been happening the last, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You know, if we just, for example, talk about the technology, how children learn, how they interact and everything, and you know, we never talk about that, for example, because there's a lot of discussion, and we will take that topic up later. I know about computers, phones, and all of those things, you know. And you know, that's just, I bring it up because I think that's a good example of how things have changed. You know, I remember my son coming home from the school, and I said, how was school? And it was boring, I didn't learn anything. And then he goes into his room, an hour later I come into his room, he's made a huge list of something that he's learning from YouTube. And this is often the fact, actually, that I think children, they go to school because they have to, and the school is just not interesting enough. Mm-hmm. It's not talking to them. It's not speaking to them where they are as persons, as, you know, about as they are, you know, when it comes to age, and where they are in the society, our society.
Why do you think, sorry, do you think it's so that, you know, until my generation and your generation were pretty much the same age, why it is so that we, I don't know, kind of, you know, supported better, that kind of, not supported, but in Italian, support. It's like we stood still and we took in everything that was told to us, and we just sat down in the classroom and we stayed for, you know, 9 years or 12 years or whatever it was. And we didn't complain so much, and we didn't probably, I don't know, kind of show those kind of symptoms that nowadays we see in kids.
Yeah, well, I think, again, that is the society. I don't know, you said we sit down and took in everything that was said. I definitely did not. I did not have interest in everything that was said. but in those days, you know, the upbringing of children was, you know, we were supposed to obey. We were supposed to obey, and we should obey everything, and we should sit still in school because that's what you did. You should sit still in school and you should listen, and then and that's a whole other topic, about, children today are not taught to obey like that, which is a good thing. But another topic is that sometimes it goes too far. Where is the line in you have to be, what's it called? You have to be, you're responsible for yourself, and you have to express what you want. In my days, when I was in school, nobody dared to express what he wanted, his thoughts or anything. The school was like that. I sat down and I listened, and the teacher was way, way above everybody else. And we were like, it was like the master and the workers, and we were just sitting there listening. Today, children, they're not brought up this way. They're brought up to, think about yourself. What do you want? What do you want to be? What do you want to learn? What are your feelings? What do you want to say about those topics? Which is a great, great thing. It just, it can't go too far, because we have children that go way too far because they don't listen to others. Because you have to have the kids today, they have to have this, feeling for themselves. Who am I? What do I want? What do I like? What don't I like? That is great, and that's what kids should have. But in the meantime, they should also, develop this thing that's called, awareness for other people. Respect for other people. I may have some ideas, and I'm totally clear with it. This is me. You have some other ideas, and I respect it, and it's okay, and everything like that. And so children today are totally different from what we experienced and how we were in school. And I think one of the problem is that we didn't know a lot of things then that we know today. Like I say, the upbringing is different. The thought process of how life should be is totally different. I'm just about that age, that I remember my father, when he went to school, he was supposed to learn what his father learned and continue that work. You didn't have so many choices. I had some choices in school, but not nearly as much choices as children have today. Sure. There's a lot of choices, a lot of things, that have to choose. When you come to the university, what is it that you can't learn? You can learn almost anything today. So I think that the problem is that today the school isn't addressing that problem. The freedom, the multiple choices we have, because the school is still putting us in a box, and everybody should do the same and be the same. And I think this is a problem about, one of the problems is that schools almost always operate after convergent thinking, not divergent thinking. I don't know if you know those concepts.
What do you mean exactly?
Convergent thinking is, you go to school and there's a question, and the answer is in the book. You can find it somewhere in the back. That is the answer.
Yeah.
So this is the way we were raised up. There was something that we needed to know, and the answer is there, and you had to learn that. Today, children today, the society and everything today is so multicultural. It's so, there's so many choices. There's so many different people and many things we can do. So, for example, today, our kids that are in school today, about 60% of the jobs that they will have when they grow up, they don't exist today. So how are you going to prepare children for that? With, reading a book and the answer is there. We have to use divergent thinking, which is there is not one answer, but many answers. And if there are many answers, I think we keep the curiosity alive with children. Instead of saying, oh, no, you have to do this and learn this, and oh, you didn't know this answer. That's wrong. Who wants to hear that you're wrong? Who wants to hear that you're not scoring well, good grades and everything? We have to build children up to say, you are the future, and you should find the answers that we don't have.
So back to the first subject was actually, why we stayed more calm in school, let's say, and not that we took in everything, but what I was meaning is that we stayed much more still and accepted everything that was going on in school. So I think it's because of the kind of control-based system that was, and the much more how you call that, discipline that was imposed to the children. And back to the thing of curiosity and willingness to learn from kids. So how would you resolve that? Because definitely it's a big issue nowadays. And the fact that I see and I hear more and more, every time I talk with people and especially parents, and I had the chance yesterday to talk also and to have a very good conversation with a teacher, music teacher in different schools. She said she told me stories of so many kids that they completely lose the interest on learning, because once they get into the system which is the same system we grew up in, so pretty much is exactly the same, because in public system, at least here, didn't change much, honestly. And even though I'm sure there are many, many good teachers that they would like to make much more than they are doing now and much different, in a much different way. But what could be the secret or the tool or the ingredient to resolve this problem, at least partially, to keep the curiosity and the willingness to learn alive in children?
Yeah, and that's a really, really deep and difficult question. But like you said, you and me, we had the discipline, we had to obey, we sat there, and because that's what we were supposed to do. This is not the way it is today. And I think the way the society is and the way the children are brought up who come to the schools, I don't think that the school system and often the teachers, they're not ready for that. Because if you're a teacher and you have these books, 3 books or whatever, you have to go through these books in this winter. And you have to let them, this is what you have to learn. So you already got a structure that you have to follow. But the kids don't want to fit into structure. They want to come and be able to be who they are, be where they are, both mentally and everything, and they have to be challenged where they are, and that's the difficult thing for teachers, because teachers, they come and they say, okay, I have this plan that I'm gonna use this winter. I'm gonna do it like this. And let's say you have like 20 children, then you have 20 individuals that none of them are the same, but you have just one plan. Are you seriously going to think that this will fit everybody? No. So the only way you're going to do that is do what was done to us. You have to take them and make them fit into your plan. And kids just don't want that today. And because of the changes in upbringing and everything, because we don't have the same discipline and obedience that we had, I was afraid of the schoolmaster, I was afraid of my teacher, I was afraid of everybody, because that's the way we were brought up, at least where I was, So you sat and you were just afraid that you would be scolded or sent out or whatever. Children are not like this today. So how are we going to do this? We have to break up this, that the teacher comes in with a fixed program that he's going to do. It has to be like what's it called? Spontaneous. It has to evolve around the children. Where are they today? How are they feeling and everything like that? Where are you mentally? 2 children the same age, are they the same place mentally? Definitely not. Most likely they are not. But they are in the same classroom because this is the age that you are now, so you're supposed to be here.
Yep.
Why can't we regulate that? Why can't we just, evaluate where are you? Let's say that we are children. You are great at math. I'm not great at math. But we are in the same school and the same class because we're the same age.
Program, exactly.
Same program, Why are you not studying with somebody who's great at math and loves math, but I'm studying something else? We have to break this up because we are trying to take children and put them in a box and put them in a structure, and that's just not possible.
And I also see, while you're talking, I was thinking that I also see a huge disconnect from the evolution of parenting to the evolution of school. I mean, because before, like you are saying, back at our age, there was discipline both in the house and in the school. So it was pretty much aligned the way of disciplining, I think you say, and growing up kids and bringing them up from pretty much scratch, and then to the school was pretty much the same system of discipline and rules and regulations and obedience, etc. What we have now, I think that the way of parenting has changed drastically, sometimes even to the extreme, like you're saying, of being too libertarian, if you want, give too much freedom to kids. And in the school didn't evolve that much, or maybe it did a little bit, but way less than what it is in the home. So for sure, this big disconnect is creating even more confusion to children, because they have so much freedom in the house and they don't have almost any freedom in the school. I mean, think just about physically what they have to do. They have from kindergarten, they pass to the first elementary school, and they have to sit down all damn day, which is so, I think it's so wrong for kids to do that. So I think that's also a big disconnection that there is between the kind of evolution that parenting had and the kind of evolution school had. And this is for sure also a big obstacle to overcome. And the thing you're saying about the age, for example, I think is very, very interesting, because I know of schools, for example, where it doesn't exist this segmentation per age, where kids, for example, I don't mean that, and I know also a kind of system which is I think is in Ukraine, and it's called Shitinin, the guy that invented this system and created this school, and where kids are teaching to kids. So all kids of all ages are together. And apparently they kind of finish, there are kids that at 14, they enter university, so advanced they are. And the system is working around the fact that kids are teaching to kids, where a child that is maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of me, that I may be 8 years old, is much more attractive to me as a teacher rather than one that is 20 years older than me, because there is such a gap that is not so interesting. And I see that every single day with my kids. I mean, my newborn that is now already 8 months old, and he's so much more attracted from my son who is 11 rather than myself or my wife, because he sees that there is a much smaller gap. So I think there are these models, and most of the time they're classes with 2 or 3 different ages together. And I think it's one of the tools that we should be bringing in the schools in order to slowly, come over all these problems that we have in nowadays systems.
Yeah, one of the things that we have to change, because, well, it's like this, we have 3 things that should, always be in line, if you can say so. You have society, and then you have our knowledge, and then you have our praxis, and if society changes, our knowledge changes, and we have to change our praxis. This is the way it works everywhere, in everything. But when it comes to school, our society has changed a lot. Our knowledge has changed a lot, but our praxis stays the same. It's the same thing they're doing over and over and over, even though everything else is changing. And one of the things is that they have to realize, have to change. When we were in school, like I said, I was afraid of my teacher, because that's what they did. He was like this power figure, and he was like, I know best, and you're a child that has to learn, and now you are learning, like this. And you're like, whoa, you're sitting there, you're just quiet, and you obey, and you take in everything you can, because the teacher is like this. This is not the way children learn. That we know that today. The teacher should not be a power figure. The teacher should be a mentor, a part of a group. He's not the teacher. I'm not going to stand here and you're all going to sit here. I'm not going to, tell you what to do. He should be a part of the group. And the children should use him as a mentor, and as a mentor, and he should be able, to evaluate and give advices and help everyone individually, all after where they are, mentally, how, you know how it is. So this is one of the problems. My son, I took him out of a public school here in Iceland, and I put him in a school where the teacher does not have a desk, a chair like everybody else. There are no desks, no chairs, nothing. You're just wherever you want to be, and this is just an interaction between people. It's not teacher and students. It's an interaction between people. One of the people is older. He knows better, and he has a control. In a way that he can use his experience and his age and wisdom to help the others. And they had the freedom of, you want to read, where do you want to read? You want to lay down in the window and read there? You want to go upstairs? You want to go outside? Where do you want to read? Read wherever you want to read. You're not supposed to be sitting there and you should be quiet for the next 30 minutes because you're going to read, nothing like that. So they are allowed to evolve at their own pace, and they have a mentor instead of a teacher.
And how was the feedback from your son?
Sorry?
And how was the feedback from your son? If I understood good, he passed from the public school, frontal system, normal system, to this kind of school, right?
I got a 1 week tryout in this school. I told them that my son wasn't happy, and I said, can he try it for a week? So I said, you can try for a week, and then we're going to just decide what you're going to do. 2 days he came home and he said, I'm never going back. I am never going back. And there are so many things that he learned that in that school that I am so happy with, because they were talking about things that you don't talk about in the public school, because they realized that, mathematics, you're going to learn to do math. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do today. In the public school, that's what you did. But if you come in as a mentor in a class like this, and there's a problem. There's some guys have been up fighting or some whatever, The math doesn't matter. It can wait. What we do now is we practice our problem solving. We talk about respect. We talk about, and they focus on the things that matter. Even though you can't do math today, the children have learned way, way better things that will help them in the school today. But in the public school, okay, now you have to be quiet, stop shouting at the sit down and be quiet because we have to do this math.
Yeah.
Program, everybody has to fit in. This is the problem, I think. This is why you lose interest. And you know it probably yourself, Me, myself, I didn't like school. I definitely did not like school. And I dropped out of school and I tried again and I dropped out because I just could not learn something that I, didn't want to learn. And I'm already 5 years old when I figured out, oh, I know what I want to learn. And then I went to school and it was so easy to learn because I was learning for me and I wanted to learn this. And we all have this. We all want to learn, and the children especially. But we managed to kill it in the schools.
Yeah, because it's a rat race. It's everything on pressure, on grades, on stakes that you have to set because of the age and not because of the development. And I think it's really, really damaging. And I agree 100% with you. And that's why one of the reasons why we said to our daughter that she's going to kind of repeat the class next year. And we are very happy. Most of the parents would probably be freaking out because she has to repeat a class. She's going to lose a year. In fact, I'm very happy that she's going to gain a year because she's going to be more mature. She's going to be relaxed and having the chance to think about what she really feels she wants to do, and not being into this race that you have to decide, and you have already to decide for life practically when you are 12, 13, which is absolutely crazy. But look, the talk is always very interesting, and we're always going over the time, Hermann, and there is so much. We're going to talk again next time for sure together, and I would just like to read already aloud the theme of next week, which is the use of devices. So you have been already mentioned it before. We're going to dig a little bit into it, and we're going to be ready to eventually, if somebody looking at this episode wants to ask or comment or whatever, you can do it. And please also, since I already announced the theme of the next week, if you want to know something in particular, just post it and comment it under this video. We're going to take care of it, and we're going to make sure that we're going to be answering next week. Okay. Thank you, Hermann, once more, and we'll meet next week.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Let's do it. Okay. See you.
All right. Let me